So, like I said, I had another story as well. This is the story I'd actually prepared for tonight until this happened. This comes out of Texas. I looked at Kevin because he's from Texas. It comes from a college student who said this happened to another one of their classmates in Texas. They said that their classmate lived about 20 miles away from this main town where the college was. And then they're in between this main town and then another smaller town. And they called it Wimberley, Texas, or something like that. So I don't know if that rings a bell.
Where is it?
Wimberley?
Yeah.
I think it's near College Station, like Central Texas.
Have you been there?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're about 20, 25 minutes away from the main city or town, College Station probably, and 10 minutes away from Wimberley. So he said one night around 10 p.m., like a couple of these guys that live all in this house, they hear a knock on the door, and it's like a frantic knock. So one of them goes and checks the little peephole on the door and sees this girl outside who looks just dirty and disheveled, and she's like frantically knocking at the door. One of them had a gun, so he just like runs to the door, runs to his room, grabs the gun, and just like hides it because they don't want anything bad to happen to them. They open the door, let her in, and she just kind of starts talking to him like, I just ran away from a cult over in this town, and they're after me. The cops are in on it. I can't do anything. I need help. Get me to the bus station. And they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. First of all, we don't believe you, but like we need some background. So she pulls out these old like Polaroid photos of like, she said this cult had systematically been abusing children and was like showing them pictures of these children. And so they didn't know whether to believe her or not, but she said she needed to get to the bus station. She was trying to get in contact with a lawyer. So they took her to the bus station. It was over in this main town, so they didn't take her back to the Wimberley, or the town of Wimberley. And then when they get back, well, they take her to the bus station, help her get a ticket, and then leave her. Then they go back to their house. And they're still kind of sketched out at this point. So they decide to call the cops at this point.
Bro.
So they call the cops. A few minutes later, a couple of squad cars show up at their house. And they like start interviewing them, like asking who she was, what she told them, where she was going, all of this. And like they kind of expected this a little bit. So they answer their questions, but they didn't tell them that they took her to the bus station. So like as soon as they finish answering all the questions, the squad cars leave, but then 2 squad cars come back. And these cops start asking them the same questions more aggressively. Like, where did you take her? What did she say? Did she say anything about where she was coming from? Questions like that.
Ooh.
And they, at this point, don't answer them. They're like, no, she didn't say anything. We just took her into town, dropped her off at the grocery store. So they're trying to protect her at this point. So that's all they told these cops. Now, it turns out there was a cult that was located in Wimberley, Texas. As far as I could tell. I don't know if you're looking that up, but...
I just looked up where it is. It's near Austin.
Near Austin, Texas. Not College Station. But they never heard from those cops again and never heard from this girl again, even though one of them had given the girl his number just to let them know let them know if she was okay. They never heard from her again either. But they did end up finding out that there was this cult over in this small town of Wimberley. So.
Was that it?
That was it.
Organized crime is so scary because like if you're on the inside trying to get out, like it's hard to know who to trust, where to go, what to do, because who's in on it. It's
yeah. especially like her dropping like, yeah, the cops are in on it. I don't know where to go, what to do. And then like what got me was like when the second cops came back and I was like, oh, these guys are in on it for sure. Just being super aggressive with the questions that they had just been asked.
I was looking up literally today. My sister sent me an article on a cult that was near Visalia, where I grew up. And I haven't read the article yet, but it's just crazy. Like here, it's like super similar to your story.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Ugh, that's not chill.
No.
When you can't trust police, it's like, oh, that's not a fun scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, man, that's such a hard situation. What would we do? Let's say right now, disheveled girl knocks on the door, tells us that story. It's so hard.
With the pictures,
Sure.
I'd probably be inclined to take her to a bus station.
But that immediately puts you in.
At risk.
Are we
yeah.
culpable? Is that the right word? Like, are we accessories? Are we now part of it? You know,
I don't think you're part of it just because you don't have the intent. If this person was
And
committing crime, you don't have that intent.
Also, if like the cult is trying to come after you just, I don't know anything. So I think you'd be fine doing that at least.
What sketches me out in the situation, and if someone like that were to show up at the house, is you really don't know what's going on at all. And it's, you know how you have moments in your life when you trust someone and you trust their story, and then you just hear that it was all a lie and you just can't believe it. I hate that feeling so much. And I'm generally a person who is too idealistic, and so when it happens to me, I'm like shattered. And I don't know. You could be helping a murderer, and you don't know that.
True.
I think I'm a trusting person.
Yeah.
Like, until someone gives me a blatant reason to not trust them, I will take them at face value.
Yeah, I feel like I try to give people the benefit of the doubt in those kind of dire situations, but
That's a hard one,
it's
bro.
case by case.
It is a hard one, yeah.
Because imagine this scenario, and we've talked about this before. You're driving down a completely black, non-lit road in the country, and looming out of the shadows is this white figure waving around and screaming. It's like, do you stop? No, probably not.
That's like the girl who...
But it's the
Sorry.
girl who got her limbs chopped off, and she's a victim of assault and attempted murder. And the first couple didn't stop.
But also, it could be like that scenario out in the cornfields where there's a whole crew
The
of
killing
people
fields?
just waiting to come out.
Okay, so what do? We have no idea.
Yeah.
Don't come to us for answers.
It's tough. It's so tough. There's don't listen to us. Listen to us.
All I can tell you is trust your gut and watch your
Go
back.
with that. Yeah.
Honestly, I was thinking about that today, though. It's like, I'm going to try and live like the next several months of my life just trusting my gut.
And then I'll come back and report on how it all went.
Sure. Yeah. I'll let you guys know.
Man. Crazy day, Sean.
It was wild.
Great story, too.